Hello friends, it's Trevor, it's Avery, it's Pat, it's the citywide special. The Phillies sweep the first place Brewers in Rhys Hoskins' return to Citizens Bank Park and reclaim the best record in baseball. The Phils will travel to London for a 2-game series with the Mets. Keith Jones speaks to the media. What do his comments tell us about the Michkov situation? The Eagles enter their last week of minicamp. James Bradbury returns, taking reps at safety, while Keely Ringo and Isaiah Rodgers continue to impress. Joel Embiid's favorite soccer team wins the Champions League. The Sixers are doing whatever. All that and more coming up right now. How's it going, fellas?
Pretty good, not too bad. Week's been off to a decent start. We got the shore coming up this weekend, which will be nice to get down there to Delaware, hang out with Joe Garrity and eat some crabs. But all in all, not too bad. Phillies remain hot. Went to the game last night, so that was a great
that's what's up.
Great game to see Casty pull that out at the bottom of the 10th, so that was fun.
Finally got a 10th inning run.
Yeah,
they've been so bad at that this year.
Yeah, so it's good to see. But yeah, can't complain. All in all, been doing pretty well.
All right, yeah. So shout out Joe Garrity. Does he listen to the pod yet?
I don't know. He's a big NPR guy. I don't know if he's got it on the hookup yet.
We can't really compete with Terry Gross.
Yeah, we'll try.
We'll just have to.
We gotta be a little more soft spoken and have
Slow,
some of that some of that elevator music will play us in, that kind of shit. That NPR vibe.
One day when we make it big. But yeah, no, looking forward to it.
I feel like we are the Joe Garrity vibe though.
Oh, big time. He's got like the radio setup. I don't know if he's got like the Bluetooth setup with the speakers down there yet, but I'll put it on for him for this little beginning part for him.
Yeah. You got to put this episode on. You got to let him know we shouted him out. Maybe he'll be able to figure out the technology. We can make him a regular listener. I'd love to have Joe Garrity on the pod, yo.
We got to figure out this call-in situation.
He tells the best stories.
Big time.
One of the best storytellers I ever met in my life.
Big time.
Yeah.
Now we'll have to figure out the call-in to get him on here to chit-chat.
All right, well.
That'd be hysterical.
Yeah.
We'll do that.
We almost didn't record tonight because we were so enthralled by some real highbrow television.
Oh,
Jail, the Jail channel.
Must see TV.
Yeah, what streaming
It's just the
platform is
Roku just has all these weird streaming channels on there. It's just all kinds of bizarre shit, including the Jail channel that just shows the show Jail 24/7. I guess is what that is.
Yeah.
I thought a bunch of those, they have like shows like that are on MSNBC and stuff, and they have names like Lock Up, whatever, blah, blah, blah. This one's just Jail.
Yeah.
Just straight up jail.
That was it. People getting booked.
Going to fucking jail, them.
That's about it, man. Old.
Definitely makes me not want to go to jail.
So, interestingly enough, I looked up their Wikipedia. The series was created and produced by John Langley and his son Morgan Langley through their Langley Television and Film Productions Company. They also produce Cops.
Okay, so that makes sense.
That's why it has that vibe to it.
Has that same exact vibe.
Yeah, it's where they get the money to make it. Because I'm always, whenever I see that kind of shit, I'm just like,
so
who's
low
paying?
budget. Yeah,
who's paying to make this? Like,
Right. And the walk-ins are always weird. Like when the cops walking to talk, like we got to remain calm, but they're always walking to nowhere. It's just for the shots. Like why you don't have to be walking around for this right now.
Yo, I didn't realize there were 5 seasons. You realize there's 102 episodes?
I believe it. They just have it. But
there's endless material.
Endless loop of 2-minute clips of people getting booked. It never fulfills. It never
that's
fulfills
true. Yeah,
the
it never goes
storyline.
beyond that. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
It's like, a guy that's publicly intoxicated. Oh, someone that's soliciting prostitution. That's pretty much it. Menacing.
Menacing, yeah.
It kind of reminded me of Trailer Park Boys, but semi in real life.
Oh, yeah. The one guy, John, was hysterical.
Yeah, right?
He said, fellas, how you doing?
It's like, I love it here. I love you guys. My man got out of jail at 4:30 for like, he was in there for public intoxication. Yeah. He got out of jail at 4:30. He was back in there at 5 p.m. the same day for public intoxication. So he basically left jail. He got a haircut. And then he came back.
And got boozed up again. He's like, I missed you guys.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a wild show. Check it out. Jail. That's it. Yeah. On the Jail Network.
Yeah, the Jail
Featuring
Network.
People going to jail.
Yeah. Yeah, that was funny, though. But, hey, man, we're kind of in the doldrums of the sports calendar. We're in one of the down periods.
Else on.
We're a lull.
NBA Finals start tomorrow. Stanley Cup Finals start Saturday. Yeah.
Yeah, I got nothing's really popping off. Yeah, even like the finals and all that. It's just been
we don't have the finals. The
delay.
The Phillies played a day game.
Yep.
They're off tomorrow and Friday. It's going to be weird not having any baseball on a Friday. Yeah. So get this, Friday we're not going to have the Phillies. We're not going to have the NBA because they play tomorrow.
Thursday, yeah.
Stanley Cup starts Saturday. We'll have WNBA. I'll probably watch that Friday. But other than that, man, like, it's going to feel weird.
We are in the lull.
We don't have, like, NBA, NHL free agency.
Nothing
None
yet.
of that.
Nothing. Yeah, you still have, what, 2 months or 2 weeks for MLB, like, trade? Like
That's next month. That's
okay,
July.
yeah, so we still have
July.
that waiting.
Still got
You
a
know,
while
it's
to
like,
go for that.
you know, we'll see what happens. It'd be cool to see them play in London, though, I guess, in a way. I mean, the Mets are kind of hot right now. I mean, they only played they just swept the Nationals. They're not hot in the sense that they're killing it, but they're coming off a little motivational boost for them. They win 3 in a row, so
they're slightly better than they've been playing, slightly above terrible.
Right? They're not. You know, it's nothing to bat an eye at. I think that they still have to go into that. It's going to be an ugly series potentially because you're going to be traveling to to London and all that. Not to be confused with London, Canada.
Yeah,
you learned your lesson. You learned your lesson.
But yeah,
all those hockey players over there in the UK.
It could be an interesting series there. One of those weird 2-game ones, but I expect them to sweep them, obviously. But the Mets they got some positive things going.
I think they're going to split.
Yeah.
Saturday. Well, fucking Taiwan Walker starting one of the games.
Yeah, so. Rangers starting.
Yeah, we got Ranger for the first one, and then
my boy
Taiwan on Saturday or on Sunday. The
He's
Sunday
so
one's
bad.
early. It's like 10 a.m.
U.S. time.
Yeah.
Oh, what, for real?
Yeah. Saturday's at 1 p.m., which is like 6 o'clock there. I think it's a 5. Yeah, it's
a 10 a.m. start.
10 a.m. So it's like an afternoon game.
Oh, don't tempt me with a good time.
It's like when they had that Eagles game too. That
I was going to bring that up.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. Right, we're all over the place to start this episode, but anyway,
it's that time of year.
So, yeah, I was thinking of that Eagles London game when they played the Jags in 2018.
Yeah.
That game started at like 9:30.
It was
you
so
remember
early.
that?
I went to the bar. They had a kegs and eggs special, so I just went to the bar for it.
Oh, that's what's up.
Yeah.
That is fun, though, when you can just watch football from 9 a.m. till midnight,
Right, then you get
basically.
the 1 o'clock, you get the 1 o'clock, 4:25, and then the 8 o'clock. Man, that was great.
Yeah, that day was shameful as hell. You remember that, Trevor? We had people over at Wolf.
Yeah.
We started drinking at like 8 a.m. We made a big breakfast. We made a bunch of good food.
Yeah.
We made like
brunch.
the Scotch eggs. We're talking fish and chips.
Nice.
Talking omelets. We're talking pancakes. We had a good meal that day.
Yeah.
And then it was just all downhill from there. We
had a good base, but then that base wore out thin.
Huh?
They had a good base with the food, but then, you start at 8, that food doesn't really last all day.
Yeah, we drank for like 14 hours. We did some illegal drugs that I probably should not really talk about, so I won't. Several times.
Jail.
Yeah,
Jail.
we could have ended up on that show, jail, that day, dude. Ooh,
Jail.
Good Lord. And then, the Eagles won. I had completely forgotten about the results of the game. I had to look it up today.
I think it was a fairly good game, yeah.
It's 24-18.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was an interesting game, but they pulled it out. And, whatever. It's cool. I don't mind. Brazil won't be as bad, I guess, because it's still going to be like it's a Friday.
It's a Friday night.
Friday night
and
game,
they're Eastern time.
Oh,
Brazil's
right.
Eastern time.
Right.
They're in the same time zone.
Yeah,
That's kind of trippy to think about.
Not all the way across the pond.
That's true.
But yeah, I didn't know that's a 10 a.m. start. I had plans for Sunday.
Is...
I thought it was going to be like a Sunday afternoon game. That's kind of, ugh.
Yeah, I guess they wanted to have one like afternoon game for them for the locals.
Sure,
the local baseball fans of England.
It'd be good to see Chase Utley there. Doesn't he live out there now?
Yeah,
he's like the ambassador there. Yeah, he's the
good way to go for your.
He probably misses a cheeseburger though, eating whatever the hell they eat
beef
over there.
burgers,
fish and chips.
What do people eat over there? Haggis,
curry.
That's the thing, right?
Indian food.
Yeah, they love Indian food.
Indian food. I hear is banging.
That's what they eat there.
A lot of beans and meats and potatoes.
Tea.
Yeah, they eat
and crackers.
Tea and crackers.
Fish and chips.
Lamb.
I like lamb.
I like the breakfast. You got me sold on that.
Oh yeah, well the English
they have
breakfast
baked beans with breakfast.
Beans, tomatoes, mushrooms.
Yeah, see, I respect that.
It's
pork
pretty
roll,
good.
like
Huge
a ham.
plate.
Yeah.
Why do people say their food's not that good?
I think when you get to dinner time, it's pretty basic.
Yeah.
I think breakfast they nailed it out of the park.
Yeah,
and then
they got
that
down.
That's kind of where it ends.
But
if you take out the Indian
what
cuisine,
do they have for dinner over there?
Mutton.
That's like lamb, though.
Nah, stew. It's like a nasty ass stew.
Okay.
It just, I mean, I've never been there, but it's, all the food there looks really bad. Like, whenever I see pictures, it just looks like slop, but I'm like, hey, that might taste pretty good.
I don't know.
But I don't know. People do complain
it's
about the food there,
It's not like going to Paris. They're like, oh, okay, I'm going to have some good-ass food.
Yeah, I have heard of all, like, European countries. The food's probably the worst there.
It's just a cold, dreary, like, no one's feeling motivated to, I don't know, it just doesn't look great.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's phenomenal, but just the looks and the sounds of the words of their food just doesn't sound appealing.
Yeah, they make that stuff called haggis, right?
Right.
That's like a Scottish thing.
Although, shout out Stargazy, though. I'm sure they'll be popping off because they have some really banging-ass food on
Do they have
patio.
TVs?
I've never been to Stargazy.
Yeah, they got a little TV, but they mostly play soccer.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Real good food there. They have a great English breakfast there.
Word, all right.
Yeah. And you get tea.
Yeah, weird. I've never been there.
No?
Even though
I used to go there once in a while back.
They do specials. They do like like the beef pies or whatever they do.
Yeah.
They do specials for that. Meat pies. I know during the World Cup they had a bunch of specials when the U.S. team played England and all that.
There's a place on 2 Street, like an old city, that does like the pies, like near.
Oh hell yeah!
Because when I go down there to watch like Celtic in the morning, it's like right down the street. Like sometimes people like stop on.
I like a good meat pie, but again, it's a lot of their food is just like beef in weird ways.
Like beef Wellington.
Yeah, it's just...
Yeah, beef Wellington's kind of mid, no disrespect. I like a corn dog more than I like beef Wellington.
It's just too bad.
It's pretty much just a big fancy corn dog.
Right, but like, I'm dirt of the earth, man.
Yeah.
I like
Put
dirt
that shit on
of the
a
earth
stick.
type food,
just
you know
give
what
me
I'm
steak
saying?
and potatoes at that point. I'll need it wrapped up in bread.
Yeah. You ever see, there's this great Twitter account called, it's called like Footy Scran. I guess Scran is like the slang for like, just like concessions or whatever. And it was like, just, bad, like concessions that they offer at various like soccer stadiums and stuff. Sometimes they do shit like from the US or whatever, but it just looks so bad.
Like, what is it? Give me an example.
Just like, I don't know, just like, it would just be like some kind of sandwich, but it's just so like meager looking. I will say what it does reveal is that we get ripped the fuck off here in the United States, man.
Oh,
like,
we know that.
Every time they ship, like, because they always put the price of everything, and it's like it's so much cheaper. All of the concessions are so much cheaper in Europe.
It's so expensive.
It's insane.
Food, beer. I don't need. That's the thing too. That's annoying is that I wish they just sold regular cans of beer. To be honest, more so than I don't need a 32-ounce can of beer.
Yo, right?
Especially at a baseball game.
And when it's
June,
when it's hot, you go to a game, right? Here's the this is an
halfway
issue.
through it, and it's like warm.
It's just hot. It's like
you
I
get
don't want to go
32-ounce beer. You pay $18 for it. You take the first few sips. It's 90 degrees. In 20 minutes, it's warm.
Right. No matter if you put it in your hand or in the cup holder.
I mean, if they really wanted to make some bank, they could. Those little short beers, like the ponies, small ones, sell them for like $5.
Yeah, oh my god,
for $4.
People will just be slurping those down.
The pounder's big enough. That's fine. We didn't need to get
the 16 ounce is perfect.
32
24
at a hot baseball game.
Don't need
like
it.
I can
the
understand.
24 is nice at a Flyers game or a Sixers game
or an Eagles game when it's cold out.
Climate controlled.
Yeah, Phillies game, man. You're barking up the wrong tree.
Yeah.
Right.
Like I can understand it from like the perspective of you don't want to have to be getting up every couple innings. Sure, I get that.
Yeah.
But
unless you're in the Diamond Club and they come and wait on you, you don't have to get up.
Well,
but then you got to pee. You're drinking. That's a lot more beer than you have to drink. That's just.
You'll be like my man on jail.
Never been a fan of those ones. Never been a fan.
Yeah, as I've gotten older and I can't drink as fast, I'm like, I don't really like this that much. When I was younger, it's like, oh yeah, I'll drink a 32-ounce beer in 10 minutes. Yeah, right. Bring it.
Well, you also don't care if it gets warm at that. Now I'm like, I just want it cold. I spent all this money on it. I want an ice cold beer at a ball game. I don't want to have warm piss beer at the end. Then it's like, damn, now it doesn't taste that great. Now I'm a little annoyed. Then you go in line and get another one. You're like, well, this is stupid. Yeah,
and you're paying $18. You pay $36 for 2 beers. God forbid you get a couple hot dogs, you're paying $45.
Right.
Yeah. Taking to the damn poorhouse.
They got us.
Oh my God, dude.
They got us by the balls.
That's why we got to move to Cincinnati.
Get that deal.
Yep. They got cheap beer.
Do you remember when the River Sharks had that? The River Sharks.
We used to get hammered.
They used to have that crazy. I don't think I ever went there for it, but I remember when they had that. Like
twice.
It was like unlimited wings and beer.
Wings. You don't picture wings at a baseball game, but
we would pig out, dude.
Yeah.
We would eat and drink so much.
Yeah, I missed the River Sharks. I remember
that was so cool. You could go to a game for like $15.
Yeah.
And you get good seats
right on the field. Yeah.
You got the bridge right there too, which is nice.
Oh yeah,
it
was a beautiful
ballpark.
stadium. Yeah, a nice little place.
Get your heart out, Pittsburgh. Yeah.
I remember, dude. The funniest thing. I remember one time I went to a River Sharks game with my dad and my brother, and we're driving over there from from Collingswood, and we're like, whatever street it's on, we're like driving up there, and stopped at a red light, and there's we see these two guys just hauling a parking meter that they had ripped out of the ground, just running it into an alley. I was like, "Yep, we're in Camden." It was like one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
Hell yeah!
Yeah, I mean that's dedication to rip that fucking thing out of the ground.
Big time.
Holy shit!
Yeah, they ain't light.
It was to collect like there's probably like $5 in there.
Yeah, whatever, man. Power to them. Respect.
Yeah, man. Well, on the topic of baseball stadiums, then we could dig into the Phillies then.
Yeah, Phillies, the team that is important right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only one, really.
Yeah.
Swept the #1 team in the NL Central.
Yeah.
Yeah, the haters, man.
Brewers.
Everyone been saying the Phillies haven't beaten anyone
I believe they're above 500.
I think so.
Yeah, they were like, I want to say 13 games above 500 at the start of this series.
They were up there
Not
with 30
anymore.
wins again. Yeah, man, impressive series. I think the big thing that stood out for me this series was just our defensive play, even with Marsh getting, going down with the hamstring.
Great plays.
Some phenomenal plays at the plate. I mean,
Bohm had a great game the other night.
Bohm had a great series.
Yeah,
he was making so many good plays.
Even
Stott had a really great play today.
He had a couple.
The jump and catch.
And then he had that diving stop too.
Yeah, you got the catchers too showing up with even Stubbs, but JT too, even after getting that ball on the balls.
Oh, JT got beat up last night, dude. He got hit with a pitch.
Yep.
He had that one fouled off the balls. He was in that collision at home plate.
Yep.
There was this hilarious moment when he had that home plate collision and T-Mac was like, he's getting banged every which way. That was a real Sarge moment he had there.
Yeah, it just was a great series that way. Yeah. And Milwaukee's a phenomenal team. The pitching.
They're a great offensive team.
Here's the deal. I got this pulled up somewhere.
They held them to like a 160 average during the series.
So this is from at not the Bobby Orr, Robert Orr on Twitter. He said the Brewers entered the series as the second most prolific lineup with 5.15 runs per game, only trailing the Phillies 5.21 per game for 0.21 per game. They leave the series playing just 2 in 28 innings.
Yeah. It was impressive.
That's wild.
And
dude.
only
the
like
second best offense in the NL, they held them to 2 runs the whole series.
Yep, just solo shots, which is fine. You'll take that. Reese, good to see him back. That was awesome to get the standing ovation. Didn't need it again the second day. That was kind of corny. I don't think you got to.
Well, it's different people there.
I think.
No, I'm with Trevor on that one.
You guys, let's agree to disagree. That's fine. But you got one day, call it a day. You hit your home run, real cute. You had a little thing. I'm over it now. We had our goodbyes. He's not dead. He's still there. I
don't care. I went back to Chase Utley. I was at Chase Utley's first game back.
Yeah, we were there.
Yeah, we were there. He had 2 home runs, including the grand slam. I was cheering my head off.
Well, he's the man, though.
Then the next year, I went back his first game back again, and I still gave him a standing O.
That's a different caliber right there. He got you a World Series win. It's Chase Utley. He's the man. I love Reese Hoskins, and I was really happy for the first game back. That was really cool. I'm not saying that was...
So you booed him last night?
I didn't boo him. I just don't think I need to get out of my chair and fucking clap for him again. That's all I'm saying. He didn't give us a world chip. He didn't give us a ring. I love the guy.
I dare say we wouldn't be here without him, though.
I'm not saying I don't like him. I love the guy. I think he got his flowers the first day. That's what I'm saying. I think that's great. I really appreciate all he did. Do we have to clap for him every time he farts? No. It's just that I just thought was kind of corny. But I get it. I understand it.
All right. But yeah, I mean, good for Reese. Got his moment. He had a couple moments. He had a home run, his stolen base, game 1.
Well,
good for him.
I love that interaction too when he stole second, and then JT was like, okay, got it. Then he got picked off going to home. Yeah. That was great.
Yeah, Rojas with that cannon throw.
Yeah, smacked him on the ass on the way out. That was too funny. That's that was really fun to see them all messing around, having a good time, still playing the game and all that. But that was cool.
Yeah, no, the vibes were good. The Brewers series. Mm-hmm. The rotation was dealing, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I think what was really great about that series was it just shows you that they can win in so many different ways.
Yeah,
because their offense was not very good in the series. Pretty quiet. Yeah. We didn't really score very many runs, but we just shut down a really good lineup for 3 games.
Yep.
So, yeah.
It's one of those series where I feel like years prior where we'd have a great bullpen game or just great pitching game, and you would lose that game 1-0.
You'd probably lose 2 out of 3.
That Reese Hoskins 1 home run, you'd be like, okay, we're done. But the fact that they're able to, like you said, find ways to win. Castellanos woke up these last 2 games. He was the hero last night and today, really.
Yeah.
So people are just popping off.
Yeah. This is another tweet I got from Paul Boyer. The Phillies have a .308 winning percentage when scoring 2 runs or fewer, which probably seems bad, right? Mm-hmm. .308. it leads the league because you don't win too many games when you
Right.
score only 2 runs or fewer. Their 4 wins when scoring 2 or fewer lead the NL. They're the only team to still have single-digit losses when scoring 2 or fewer.
Wow.
So that goes to your point, Trevor. Like, they can score 1 or 2 runs and find ways to win, whether it's pitching, whether it's defense, whether it's timely hitting like it was last night, or a combination of all three, as it was for much of the series.
Big time.
I saw now they have their top 4 guys in their rotation are all in the top 6 in the NL and ERA.
I saw that.
Crazy.
Yeah. It's wild. I mean, it's a remarkable.
Yeah,
bullpen
Nola's now
right
solidly under 3. He's at like 277.
Yeah, this is wild.
Yeah.
Zach Wheeler. This is from Mac L, but I've just been seeing all these crazy stuff, and I'm like, I got to screenshot this. It's just all these stats are so ridiculous. Zach Wheeler, Aaron Nola, Ranger Suarez, and Christopher Sanchez have combined for a 2.34 ERA in 305 and a third innings this season.
Yeah.
So, like, not a small sample size
No,
at
it's
all.
massive.
Like,
That's the other thing.
size.
They're getting all these innings from these guys, which is saving their bullpen. I mean, it's just, I feel like the trend in baseball is to have all this using your bullpen as this patchwork. And
You saw
I mean,
the
even
Brewers
like,
do
the
it
Brewers
with that opener
doing the
nonsense.
opener
Twice.
thing. And the Phillies are just going old school. Like, starter goes 7 solid innings. You bring in your setup guy, bring in your closer, get it done. Like, it's really cool to see.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean,
and even some of the other guys. I mean, fucking Strom looks like he could be an all-star.
Strom's
dealing too. Yeah.
I saw he hasn't let up a home run since September of last year.
Yeah, he's been dealing.
Yeah.
Jeff Hoffman, cousin Jeff, he's been dealing.
Turnbull.
Jeff Hoffman has like his ERA's under
His
1.
ERA's like .88.
Yeah.
Turnbull's been good.
Bananas, yo.
Everybody's just stepping up and doing their thing. It's remarkable, honestly. We were, I think, at the beginning of the season hopeful that, you'd have a decent Nola. People were worried about him coming back and having his whatever, if he was mentally okay and all that. Wheeler, we knew was going to be fine. And Suarez, we were, I was optimistic.
I said an all-star. I
Right.
didn't think he's going to be this good.
Yeah, and then he comes out. Thank God we had that little scare with his hand, but everything came back negative. He was good
He's
to
pitching
go.
Saturday.
Yeah,
So he's on track.
That was good, because that would have been like, oh my God, there goes my fucking call, because if he missed all those games of that, I don't think he would have won the Cy Young. But, yeah, man, this pitcher group is probably, I mean, I know we had Roy Halladay and all that, but consistently good in a long time.
At this point, I would say it's on par with the 2011 rotation.
I mean, we're a third of the way into the season just about, they have no signs of, even if one guy takes a slump, the fact that, like you said, Trevor, 4 out of the top 6 in the NL are all Phillies. All right, so we have 3 out of the top 6. Like, that's remarkable.
If someone gets hurt, you can just throw Turnbull and back in there.
Right.
He's been dealing too.
Hopefully Walker, but,
Hopefully he has more toe issues. I guess we got to get to him. Yo.
Yeah.
So his line on Sunday, 5 innings pitched, 5 hits, 4 earned runs, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts, 2 homers. I was sitting there thinking that's actually a decent line for him.
For him,
that's horrible. That's become like his like. I can't even call it his floor because his floor is lower, but that's his base.
That's a good
his baseline.
Day. That's a decent day for
him. That's horrible.
Especially when the team's cruising like this. You're going to have this guy be the one
He's
that's going to
be the one like they'll win 4 out of every 5 games mostly. They'll probably lose 1 here or there, but he's going to be the one that loses most of those games that 5th day.
I mean, it's just from the stats. And again, we said this last week too, but it's like I guess they just can't justify the $7 million playing off the bench as opposed to being in the starting rotation. But
it's more than that,
or whatever. Well, I think his yearly salary is only 7 or whatever.
4 years, $72 million. So that's
okay. So it's
$18 million a year.
So 18. Yeah, it's just a bad. That was just a bad. For all the moves they've made in recent time, especially bringing in Harper and all these guys, this is one that like they just completely whiffed on.
Yeah, can't hit on them all.
No,
I'm just over him, man. I didn't realize.
I mean, I get
they couldn't skip him in the rotation. They have all these off days. We got to. National TV is going to see him twice in a week. I know,
right? They should have figured out a way to make it so it was like have Zach Wheeler start one of his games in London,
because they have tomorrow and Friday off. So Wheeler's 4th day would be Sunday.
Yeah, right? They could potentially do it, but
I don't think they're going to.
Yeah, I don't think they want.
That's horrible.
Also, can't talk about this series without David Dahl too coming out of the
David
woodwork.
Shout out David Dahl, man.
Yeah.
Everybody
Former
hits.
All-Star.
Yep.
Everybody hits. Woohoo!
Yeah, man. We're in that time of the season, and he really showed out. Stepped in there for, I guess he stepped in for Marsh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And home run. I mean, the guy was doing everything
First
which
game
way.
against
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw a few years ago when he was on the Rockies. I guess there was a series.
He was good.
Yeah, well, there was a series with the Phillies had a 4-game series in Colorado, and he had a home run in every game.
Yeah, he was good.
I
I remember
4 days
that.
in a row. Yeah, I mean, he was like an all-star one of those years. Probably,
Yeah.
I guess it was probably that year. And yeah, I guess he's just had like injuries and this and that, but yeah.
Yes.
Can't ask more than that for a guy coming up from AAA on a moment's notice and producing like that.
Which we've seen multiple times throughout this season.
Yeah, we've seen that with Weston Wilson.
Cody Clement came in, and
this year.
his first series he came in there had a home. I mean, he was doing everything, getting those wins, RBI doubles, and things like that. So, it must be nice to come up to the team too. You don't feel as pressure when you have a pretty substantial lead against the Braves. You have a pretty
8 games.
Yeah, you have a pretty good feel about the rest of the league as a whole where you are. Your bullpen's on fire. You sub in just to be a body. If you have a good game, great, but they don't need you to like, oh my God, like you're our only guy. Like, we lose Harper and we have nobody else out there. You need someone to step in and do something, but it must be comforting to come into a team like this when they're so hot and they don't really need to rely on you that much.
The vibes are immaculate. We thought Trey Turner was going to be back by now. No worries, man. Edmundo's still been killing it.
Oh my God,
we're chilling. We're fine.
Yeah. Trey Turner can take his time, make sure that hamstring's 100%.
Exactly. Yeah, so all good things. I think they probably will split in London.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a weird series. No one knows what this ballpark's gonna play like,
or what the weather is, or how
the weather.
It's just a weird. It's a long flight. It's gonna be odd. I could see them sweeping them, obviously, but I think that just due to the fact that it's in London, I give them a split.
Yeah, I would agree.
And the Mets they're not on a downturn. They did, they got some little mojo going for them. Not that they're good, but, a sweep is a sweep. So they got that going for them.
Yeah. But hold on, one last thing about the Phillies, man. Can we stop it with the ESPN, mid-game interviews when players are on the field?
Oh, it's the worst.
It's so annoying.
Oh, it's so dumb. The giraffe thing.
Yeah, even
that was funny, but
that was kind of funny. That was more entertaining than most of these. Or when Wet Brandon did it, it was kind of funny. But it's like, man, just let the guy focus on his job. I'm waiting for the day someone commits an error.
Oh yeah, big
because
time.
of that, and they just blame the broadcast.
It's gonna happen
I would have been
eventually.
fine if you guys weren't in my ear.
Yeah. I don't need more talking in baseball. Let me just watch the game. As stupid as that sounds, I don't need to hear. You can see it. I don't need to hear you talking about anything. And there's not much to talk about.
Yeah.
What are you going to pick the guy's brain about? The dude's trying to watch the batter coming up here.
Yeah.
Or the other thing, I don't think this would happen in MLB, but I remember one year, this was NBA All-Star Weekend. They had mic'd up Jose Alvarado for the New Orleans Pelicans, and it was the Rising Stars game or whatever. And he was just cursing his ass off.
Hell yeah.
It was really funny. And they didn't censor it. I guess there wasn't a delay. They didn't censor it. So you're just like, fuck yeah, man. It's like, hell yeah, bro. It's like, that's my man. He's like, get his ass, boy. And it's just this awkward, oh yeah, so Jose, tell us about that last play. And then he realizes, he's like, oh yeah, I'm on TV. I got to tone it down. I'm waiting for that to happen because the NBA generally does just lets that stuff fly.
Yeah.
Rob Manfred, as soon as that happens, he's like, yeah, we got to get rid of this.
Oh, big time.
We can't have people hearing this in our game.
The other funny stat I saw is that of the active players, who's in the lead for most ejections in a game, ejections.
Harper.
Yeah, but, the number 2 guy, I think, has 9.
Who?
I forget who it is.
Harper's got 20-something.
21.
Good for him.
He's got it's just so funny to see.
Passionate man.
It's 9, 7, 7, 6, and then he's at the top with 21. I'm like, damn, that's amazing.
Good for him.
And we've seen, since he's been a Philly, at least 4
to be fair, that last one he didn't deserve. 120 was on some BS.
That was stupid, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I really have anything else on the Phils. We got the Mets, then we come back. Stateside, we got the Red Sox. Schedule gets a little tough. I think Boston's decent this year.
They're okay. They're not the best. But,
just kick the shit out of the Braves. That's
yeah, I'll take
nice.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Braves are 8 games back, yo.
And the Dodgers
Could
lost.
you imagine if the Braves don't even make the playoffs?
They might not.
Let's
the NL's looking
what
good.
The standings look like.
I also saw the Pirates beat the Braves in a shutout.
Or the
Which was
Dodgers.
great. Or the Dodgers, I mean. Yeah, the Dodgers. Yeah, yeah.
Pirates have been
Paul
up.
Skeens is
Paul
pitching
Skeens
today.
has been dealing.
Yeah.
He's nice.
Yeah, he's pretty wild.
So, yeah, what are the standings? Wild card, Phillies, Dodgers. Okay, the Braves would still be the first wild card. The NL's really bad. The Braves are probably going to make the playoffs regardless.
Yeah. Well, you know who does not know very much about the Phillies is the contestants on Jeopardy the other night.
I love this shit when they ask some sports questions.
21st Century Sports 400.
In 2007, this National League squad became the first team with 10,000 losses. In 2008, they won the World Series behind Cole Hamels and Ryan Howard. Christina.
Who are the Chicago Cubs?
No, I'm sorry. It's a good guess, but it's the Phillies. Back to you.
Yeah.
Idiot.
The
Come
Cubs.
on.
When did they break the curse? That was like 2016.
That was like 8 years. That was a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like 2015.
2016. It was Chris
2015,
Bryant's rookie year.
Yeah, yeah. I remember they had like
it was
Aroldis
2016.
Chapman that year. It was,
Schwarber was on that team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Schwarber's
Yeah.
rookie year. I think that was
Yeah.
2016. The Chicago Cubs missed me with that. I
Yeah.
don't know, man. That's a
they're
disgrace.
so ass.
I know that person wasn't from here.
No.
They always get stumped, though, with the sports questions on
Yeah.
Jeopardy.
Bunch of nerds.
Hey, we can't all be smart, gifted, and talented like the three of us handsome men up here on this here stage, I guess.
That's true. Well,
Yeah, I don't know. We got anything else in the Phils? That's about
I think
it.
the Phils is pretty much it.
Yeah, I mean,
we'll
dude,
leave it on
it's
them.
starting to, feel like a very special year. I mean, I remember, during the end of that run from, 07 to 11 or whatever, thinking, like, this might be the best Phillies team I ever see in my life. And it's like, maybe not. This one might be a little bit better, honestly.
I think right now, unless...
Which is definitely, it's great, but it's also putting the pressure on because at this point, I'm just kind of like, they got to win it all, or it's going to, like, anything short of that's going to be a kind of a letdown.
They've kept a good demeanor about them. Again, we're only a third of the way in, so we'll see how they respond after the All-Star break and all that shit happens. But if they just keep calm, I'm glad we got Rob Thompson in there, keeping everybody straight. But if you just keep that mentality going, just keep locked in and focused. I think they're 23 and 26, 23 wins of 26 games at home this season, too. We get the best home field advantage.
I think it's like
or whatever.
26. It's
or
something
26
ridiculous.
to 28. Something. We only have 2 losses
it's like
at home.
26 and like 3 or something. It's wild.
Yeah. So, to your point, they're definitely putting together something special here. But the 2000, the other team, they got the ring. So
Yeah, I mean-
they don't get the hardware. All these wins right now don't really mean shit.
To be fair, like, we can save this for another time, but like, if I were to rank the like Phillies top teams, like from that 07 to 11 run, the 2018 would have been one of the worst.
Oh yeah, they got better every year and did worse. Every year the team got better, but they finished worse in the playoffs.
Yeah, so like I would put this Phillies team right now above the 2008 team.
Oh yeah,
say they're
for
on
sure.
par with the 2011 team. It's just
Definitely,
obviously we know that 2011 team just didn't have the
It
success.
just didn't work out. Yeah.
Ryan Howard tears his Achilles. Roy Halladay throws his last really good game in that game 5 against the Cardinals. The squirrel runs across the field in game 3 when Cliff Lee's pitching, and it was
It's the beginning of the end.
Yeah.
But yeah, good vibes right now. Hopefully keep it
let's
going.
not talk about negative vibes from 14 years ago.
Yeah. So what next?
Well,
Let's move to the Flyers real quick.
Speaking across the pond, he can go that way.
The other London.
Yeah.
Ali Bong's playing for the London.
That's
the
true.
London who? Who's he played for?
London Knights.
The London Knights.
And Denver Barkey.
Yeah, Denver Barkey.
Bonk, Barkey,
Brinky.
Bonk and Barkey.
Bonk, Brinky.
It's like the
Bing,
Three
bang,
Stooges of it, a bitch.
Brink and Barkey. There we go. But yeah, I mean, not a whole lot about Ali Bonk or Denver Barkey today, or Bobby Brink for that matter. But what do you call it? Jonesy and Dan Hilferty did speak.
I did not see this. Did you?
I didn't see it. I listened to the PHLY pod and read some tweets. Nothing really super noteworthy. Michkov was not really a huge topic of conversation, but when asked, they didn't really say anything about him. They said that they know about as much about the situation as we do, which I think is probably a lie.
Well.
Maybe
I don't
not.
know.
I don't know how I mean, Russia's also a little...
they have to keep it pretty close to the vest because, you can't divulge too much when you're dealing with the Russian government.
Right.
Yeah.
But what did I have? I had a couple of tweets.
Also, there's no tampering that could be involved, right? Like if he's coming over that early, there's no process they got to follow through the NHL.
No, I mean at this point, there's nothing that the Flyers can really do. They just have to wait and see what happens. They're kind of.
But there's no penalty if they were to have a more in-depth conversation with anybody over there, right?
I don't think they're technically allowed to.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why they're being more.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. They have to play it coy.
Right.
And like Jones said, this is all that Jones really said about it. We have no update. We expected and planned for him to play out his contract with Sky. We would welcome him with open arms, but we don't know. And then
pretty middle of the road.
This is from Hockey News Hub. I don't know how to pronounce this name. Alexei Shevchenko. Oh, I did pretty good.
Nice, you nailed it.
Sounds good to me.
I did pretty good. Shevchenko.
Yeah.
So I don't know who Alexei Shevchenko is. I think he's related to Ska in some capacity. He says, on my own behalf, I'll eye that Matvei Michkov's fate can be decided at any second, and there is a chance that he will not be allowed to leave. It's really 50-50 here. Then Hockey News Hub goes on to say, Keith was very careful of his words about Michkov. So not a whole lot of news because you don't want the Russian government coming after you.
So no one knows nothing, pretty much.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, he can come early or he can stay and do the contract.
I think they know a lot more than they're leading on.
I'm sure, but ain't nobody going to give us anything.
Yeah, I mean, you can't.
Right.
Right? Like, you don't want the Russians to be mad at you.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw that, I don't think this is super new, but I think recently SKA, the Ska team, signed a bunch of guys who
we talked about this last week.
Yeah, who will probably be in their top 6. So it looks like if anything, Michkov will probably, if he stays over there, he's probably going to be loaned out again, which doesn't really do them any good. Mm-hmm. And it's I don't know. Kind of why bother at that point. So we'll see.
That probably kind of sucks for him, though.
Big time. You got to make sure his conditioning is up. If you're not really playing, then you're getting him as a young, spry guy. You don't want him just sitting on the bench, putting on pounds or getting lazy or just it's got to be a bad mental state too when you're just waiting. You're in the prime of your career and all that stuff. So yeah, we'll see. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
What are y'all thoughts on the Stanley Cup Finals?
Who's in it?
Oilers, Panthers.
This is a long distance from the tip of Florida all the way up to Edmonton.
Yeah, it's kind of all the way. Yeah.
It's two very different fan bases.
I guess not that the Panthers
have much of a fan base.
I mean, it's cool that Connor McDavid's finally in the finals.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's the LeBron of the NHL.
I mean, he's been the best player in the league for years now. And they finally have enough guys around him to get to the finals.
Outside of him and Draisaitl, though, the team's not super deep.
Yeah, it's not a ton there. Panthers are really fun. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to really pick a side because I think both these teams are pretty likable.
Yeah, I mean, I just generally have a disdain for the state of Florida.
That's true.
Well, yeah, that makes sense.
I don't know, man. I feel like I would like to see the best hockey player of our
Canada
generation.
has not won a Stanley Cup in 20 years or something, or maybe even longer than that, honestly. I forget.
Who's the last Canadian team?
I think it's been since the 90s.
Yeah, I couldn't even tell you who the last Canadian team was.
Yeah, I know they've been in a drought for quite a while.
Yeah, that country needs. They've won an NBA Finals more recently.
Yes.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Oh
That's
my god!
funny as shit.
Yeah.
But now I would love to see McDavid's the best hockey player of our generation, probably one of the best hockey players of the last 40 years.
Yeah, ever.
Right?
Yeah.
I would like to see him win one. So yeah, I mean, I would love to see the Oilers win it. What do I have written down here? I think it's Panthers in 6. I don't think the Oilers have the depth. And the Panthers were there last year, man. They hungry. They're not trying to lose again.
Yeah.
Who has home ice?
That's a good question. Actually, I'm not sure.
So I think that makes a difference when you're traveling like this.
Well,
whoever can start the series off on the right foot.
Yeah.
But we'll see. So yeah, I guess speaking of finals, we can jump over the NBA finals. We don't really have much Sixers news. It was good to see Embiid hanging out at the
Champions League final. Yeah.
He looked good.
He looked great.
He looked good. His face wasn't all saggy.
No.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that, honestly, when I was watching.
Yeah, he was all good to go. He just needed to get out of the playoffs. That's all he needed to do.
Yeah.
He said
His body just shuts down in the
Stop
playoffs.
playing basketball.
he was having fun, dude.
His biggest weakness.
He looked like he was having a good time. He was happy to be there.
Yeah.
He's like, I feel great.
We got Dallas and Boston.
Dallas and Boston. I don't know. Who do you guys
I know.
want?
Yeah, that's like a fuck. I hate Dallas and I hate Boston, but it's not like Dallas is the Cowboys.
It's
not the
like
Cowboys.
an easy decision. It's the Mavericks all the way. Is who I want to win. If you ask me if it's a Cowboys Patriots Super Bowl,
you're not watching it.
Oh, I'm torn.
No, I get that. I think that makes sense.
But in this case, like the Dallas Mavericks never did anything wrong to me.
Nah, fuck Boston. We'll see what Luka can do. It'd be nice to see him get it.
Dude,
they keep comparing it to like when Dirk played like the Heat, because it was like a young super team, which is kind of like what they have going on in Boston. Then like a team that has a like European guy. I don't know, some weird.
No,
shit
I've seen a couple of those tweets and those memes, and like it's not far from the truth. Like
Kyrie
Dirk,
helps though.
Yeah, I was gonna say Dirk didn't even have a Kyrie. It was literally like Dirk and a bunch of like
just took
role
over.
players, and he was just hooping. But I think at the end of the day, Dallas has been on one, man. Like Dallas, their defense has been like one of the best since like middle of the season.
Mm-hmm.
And think about the teams they had to beat to get here. Like they had to beat the T-Wolves, they had to beat the Thunder, they had to beat the Clippers.
Yep.
Who have the Celtics had to beat?
Nobody.
They had to beat the Heat without Jimmy Butler,
New York,
the Cavaliers without Donovan Mitchell,
Yep.
and the Pacers without Tyrese Halliburton.
Yeah.
They've had the easiest path. They haven't played anyone.
Yeah.
And like that Pacers series, they barely scraped by in most of those games.
when Halliburton
That
was
Cavs
healthy.
series, they easily could have lost another game or two, right? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're in for a rude awakening potentially. I mean, they'll get theirs. I'm hoping at least it's a good series. But yeah, I could see Dallas pulling this off. I'm not too, Dallas is great. I think having the experience with Kyrie there too. Is JaVale McGee on that team? They have somebody. I saw another stat where like some team.
they have a couple geezers on that
Either
team.
way, they've lost like this one team specifically. Like 8 players that have left the team have all gone on to win, and right now there's like 2 players on each team that could have possibly done that. But yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be a good series. I hope.
Yeah, I'm saying Mavs in 7, man. I think some interesting storylines. Kyrie hates Boston. They hate him, right? You remember him playing there his first couple games back. He's like giving people the bird. Mm-hmm. Like they're booing his ass left and right. He's saying the fans are racist. He rolls in there lighting sage and whatnot.
Yeah.
Like Kyrie hates Boston. I think Kyrie's going to go off for 40 in one of these games.
Yeah.
I think Porzingis also has some history with the Mavericks.
Yep.
Yeah.
If he's healthy, then this series goes 7 games. If Porzingis is still banged up, Mavs in 6.
Yeah, I like the idea of the Mavs winning because I think it's finally time for the flat earthers of the world to get a W. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, shout out the flat earthers.
Yeah.
It's like
throw them a little bone.
I'm not one of those. The earth is definitely round.
They get ridiculed and demeaned all the time, and
they keep proving themselves wrong.
Yeah, and they deserve to be able to lift that championship trophy
from one side to the other. Yeah, I'm rooting for Dallas, obviously. Fuck Boston.
I do get a little money if Boston wins, but I'll be fine either way.
Yeah, I haven't really. I got to till tomorrow to place my bet, so I got to do that yet. I'll
It's good to see Luka. Get a little ring there.
Yeah, could be 2 years in a row that we see a pudgy European white guy win the NBA
Yeah, we got to get
Finals.
ourselves a pudgy European
I
white
know,
guy.
man.
If that's the case.
That's the key to winning
We
in the new NBA.
We should have kept Furkan and told him to gain like 50 pounds. He'd probably be the best player in the league.
Yeah.
Or what's his name? Pashechnik, who we drafted.
You remember who that was?
We should have kept him. Told him to gain like 40 pounds and learn how to shoot a jumper. He could be Jokic like.
We had Sarek. Could have had.
Yeah,
I like Dario,
I
man.
liked him
Wherever
too.
Dario is, I think he's on the Warriors.
Yeah, I liked him.
Yeah, we could have kept Dario.
Dario was fun.
He could have put on some pounds. He'd have been all right.
Yeah, but we have our 7'2" African man. We have our 6'2" cute Texan man. Mm-hmm. And after that, we got Ricky Council, maybe B-Ball Paul, and a bunch of free agents.
Hopefully, we make some deals. I think we got the second most cap in the league, which is good. So this is Daryl Morey's moment right here. If he fucks this up, we're done. You got a chance to really do some damage here, bring in some free agents, use that draft capital for trade value and stuff like that. But he also, in the same sense, has a chance to really royally fuck us.
I don't have high expectations.
No,
but
I got nothing. He hasn't proven. He hasn't really done anything yet. I mean, he's done a couple things, but I just think that it's an uneasy feeling going to the offseason of what he's brewing up.
Nah, they played the cap space game, and there aren't really any free agents worth having the cap space for.
Nothing major that way, but you probably you probably sign Embiid, probably sign Maxey. Hopefully, bring in somebody. Maybe bring back some guys on a vet minimum like Lowry or Batum, or
I think that
sign
Lowry will probably get the vet minimum. I don't know, man. We can talk about this another time, but ugh.
You have a chance to keep the core that you had last year. There is a way, but
we got to add
as long as he doesn't go crazy and spend ridiculous money to bring in somebody else. But
we got to add Mikal Bridges. But I was listening to Zach Lowe's podcast, The Low Post, and he had some guy on who's like, "Yeah, Houston's probably going to get Bridges. They have more picks than us.
Yeah,
and they also really want him. So
that's all right.
Life of a Sixers fan, man,
big time.
Anyway. Let's talk about the other team that kind of somewhat matters right now, even though it's mini camp yet.
The Birds.
Eagles looking decent. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's nice to hear it's fun because I feel like these new coaches, at least when they talk, it's a little bit more exciting than last year because there's some energy, there's excitement about the team.
Oh yeah, all the assistant coaches spoke. I forgot about that.
Yeah, the big defensive lineman coach.
Clint Hurt.
He talked.
Yeah, my man's looking like an absolute unit.
He could fill in a plug if we need an extra D tackle for sure. But all good comments about the young guys. He likes their energy, discipline. Obviously conditioning is Jordan Davis's biggest focus. I think they've been saying they want him to lose some weight, get that speed back, which I think he's looking like he is. They all talk with kind of a great demeanor, which is good. They're all young. You lose that leadership in Fletcher Cox, but, you have that familiarity playing from Georgia, and they come from a pretty NFL caliber or regimented program, so it's not like they're just a bunch of solo alpha dogs trying to be the leader. They know how to play together. They know how to win together. Can they translate that? And I think this will be the season where we see that culmination if Vic Fangio's system bodes well for them.
Yeah.
But it's just exciting to see everybody, look good, look happy, and feeling focused for the year coming up.
Yeah, I think early returns would suggest that the Vic Fangio scheme's doing good.
Yeah.
You got these young corners showing out, man. We had, what do you call it, Isaiah Rodgers last week we were talking about. Keely Ringo apparently has looked really good in minicamp this week.
Yep.
Cooper DeJean, I think, almost had an interception today. Quinyon Mitchell played good.
Talking shit to A.J. Brown.
Quinyon Mitchell playing dime linebacker.
Yep.
The defensive secondary, I think we're gonna go from
bottom of the barrel
1 out of 10 last year to an 8 out of 10 this year.
I can see us being a top 5 secondary if people stay healthy, and if we get some help from the D line this year. If we get at least half as many sacks as we got that year that we almost set the record for sacks, we'll be all right. Last year we took a big setback there. But it's interesting to see, especially we went from having a pretty much depleted secondary. But the last 2 years between drafting, 2 corners or safeties, so to speak, in back-to-back drafts, especially in the first pick and second pick, we're looking pretty good. You got young guys flying around a new system, looking excited. Quinyon Mitchell was talking shit because A.J. Brown was interviewed, and they were like, so have you talked to him a lot? He's like, he's a pretty quiet dude, but I ran a route today, and he was like, damn, what that busted-ass route.
So that they have a little friendly rivalry, yeah.
So,
that's what's up.
Yeah, it's cool that he, has a little bit of a, some fight in him there, which is exciting. A.J. Brown's looking fit as fuck. He said he hit 23 miles an hour again in training.
Oh, he's brolic as hell, man.
He's
we
trying
don't
to
gotta worry about him.
He's trying to have the best season yet, which is scary if he could somehow be even better than he has been as an Eagle. But yeah,
he slowed down at the end of the year. Everyone did.
Well, I mean, at that point, everybody
maybe it's just about him just making sure he is consistent. That's probably what he's thinking.
Yeah, you can start off the year hot. I don't know if we need you to get 1,000 yards in 8 games, but you can
I think
stretch.
It was 6 or whatever.
Yeah, you can stretch that out a little bit more and save those legs for a future date. But yeah, hearing them talk about Kellen Moore's route tree and all that, they're like, it's nice to move around more and throw the defense off, as opposed to that stagnant offense we saw last year.
Yeah,
but
stale.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say? Oh, speaking of the defense. Devin White and what do you call it? Zach Bond have been the starting
Yeah.
linebackers. Nakobe Dean's been number 2 yet.
Yep.
Yeah.
Vic Fangio's like, oh, I'm not too high on this guy.
I think he needs to earn that spot back. I think he was probably drafted a little too high. And with his just history of,
His
injury
yeah.
and just not consistent play, he hasn't warranted that. I mean, Zach Bond was a great player he came from the Saints, no?
Yes, he was.
Came with
he was
high
a
regard.
solid special teams player who they always thought had pass rush potential.
And Devin White, I think, is going to be a sleeper.
Everyone's saying he's really fast.
I think he was just not in a great headspace in Tampa. I think he
Yeah.
just was defeated, and it's weird because Foles down there is a defensive-minded coach. So I guess if you're not vibing with the guy, he's not going to put you in a great spot. But, and as a linebacker, too, if you're not committed, you can't hide that shit. Like, you're going to get burnt. You're not going to be making those plays. You're not hitting the gap quick enough. You're not making the right reads. But he seems excited. It was really a sweet moment to hear John Ross, too, talk about just being in Philly and grew up an Eagles fan and,
Yeah, I didn't know that about him.
his son. And
I
he's
know,
like,
yeah.
I wake up at 3 a.m. and I'm just happy. Like, it's just nice. He might not make the team. We're pretty stacked at receiver, but,
I think he has a good shot.
he does. I just, maybe
he plays
in like
the Quez Watkins role, but he'll probably play it better.
definitely. But, we're pretty loaded. So we'll see. But it's just good to hear him as a good headspace. That's all. Like, everybody just seems in a good mindset. Everyone looks healthy. It's all I can really hope for in mini camp, OTAs, whatever they want to call it.
Even my boy Bradbury.
He walked off though his first day in. He
They're
walked off
putting
because
him
it
in
was
at
tight.
safety. Yo, here's what.
I mean, I feel like they're just kind of displaying him like, hey guys, he can play safety too.
That's exactly what I've been thinking the whole
Yeah.
time.
yeah.
Like Sirianni's like, yeah, he's a team player. He wants to do what's right for the team. That's why we liked him when we brought him in. That's
It's
why
like
we like
he
him
can
now.
juggle. He can.
Yeah. He's also a great whistler. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Great, yeah.
He's a great chess
Yeah,
player.
multi-talented,
You
yeah.
need someone in your locker room that can play chess with the boys.
Yeah.
Great. Uno, best Uno player. He'll really help your team figure out how to win a game. Uno. Rock, paper, scissors. He's got
Master.
you covered, man.
Yeah, he ain't. I don't see him. I don't see him as a starter on the team.
So here's the deal. There's no way he makes the team.
No.
Man. I will be shocked.
We're stacked.
I will be
you got
absolutely
CJ,
shocked.
GJ. We didn't even talk about Gardner Johnson. Like,
Yeah.
even at
I
safety, you
always
don't-
forget that they got.
yeah,
him
like we have
back.
our secondary is so stacked. It might not. We have to see how they play, but just in this sense of how many guys we have back
Just
there, it's like
roster-wise,
Jesus
yeah, there's a
Christ.
lot of
Eli
guys.
Ricks, Ringo,
Maddox,
Slay. Maddox is
Slay,
back. Yeah.
Mitchell, DeJean,
Reed,
Sidney Brown will be back probably
Yep.
early in the season.
Ed Reed, Blankenship.
There's no need for him, man. All these guys are young, hungry, have more upside.
Right.
Why
You don't
have
feel as
him on the
bad
team?
watching Eli Ricks or Keely Ringo, even probably Cooper DeJean or Quinyon Mitchell getting burnt in the fourth quarter of a game than a guy that is just old and
Yeah.
is just playing stupid.
who showed last year a propensity to get burnt.
Right. By DK. Drew, you made Drew Lock
Yeah.
look like fucking
Ugh.
Drew Brees.
Ugh.
That's just one example.
Yeah, it was the
Ugh.
worst.
Let me get me started. I can't get
Yeah,
started.
no.
Yeah, we don't need to go down that rabbit hole.
We do need to talk
He
about.
was bad.
Is there any other Eagles stuff to talk about? The offense hasn't looked great, but it's mini camp.
Yeah.
It's
They're
hard to
figuring stuff
Jalen
out.
Hurts is just throwing those picks to give those guys confidence because that's how much of a leader he is.
There
you
we
know
go.
what I'm saying?
There
Yes.
we go. They questioned his leadership last year. Yep.
Exactly,
Good
dude.
point. Good
He's-
point.
Get ready
He's-
for a whole new waft of quotes as well.
Yeah, he's on a whole other level. They just don't realize.
Right. He's playing chess. Everyone else is playing checkers.
I wonder
Yes.
what books Hurts has been reading. He's probably been reading The Art of War,
Oh, all that crazy shit.
The Anatomy of Revolution.
What's the Maximus or the
Zen and Art of Motorcycle Maintenance. Yeah, he's been reading Ulysses.
The
what's that
Odyssey.
one like
Infinite
that
Jest.
one like Roman
He's
book?
been reading everything, dude.
Julius
Yeah.
Caesar.
Yeah, the Odyssey.
The Iliad.
The Iliad.
Yeah.
He's gonna come out here speaking Latin.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it'd be funny if Hurts just
Dude,
took the mic and
I do
started
remember the
speaking
one
straight
time.
Latin.
I do remember
face.
the one time when Roy Halladay got interviewed before a playoff game, and they were asking him if
this
he's
was
like,
badass.
and he was just like, "I didn't come to
It
praise
was right
Caesar.
before
I came to bury him."
It was before Game
Yeah.
5 of the NLDS.
Yeah, dude, that was some hardcore shit.
And that was the last good game he
Yeah.
played, even though he pitched incredibly in that
And
game.
lost, yeah. But
That was the end of. That was when after
End of
that
an
game
era.
he started having back
yeah,
problems.
that was it.
Then the next year he was bad. Then the next year he's addicted to painkillers, and then we know.
Then he died.
Yeah.
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 Anyway.
it took a turn.
Hopefully Jalen Hurts doesn't die.
Yeah.
Well, you just
Jalen
gotta
Hurts
stay away
isn't
from
gonna
those crazy ass
man.
quotes. Then just keep
Yeah,
it
Jalen
to
Hurts, stay away from the Shakespeare.
yeah. Keep it to just what you
Stick
got right
to-
now.
Yeah.
I didn't walk through the fire to smell the
Smell the
smoke.
smoke.
Yeah, see, that's
Keep
all
it
right.
keep it like that. Keep it with your own original shit.
Yeah.
I didn't eat the Taco Bell just to have diarrhea.
Yeah. I didn't shit my pants
I
for
didn't.
nothing. Wait, what? Yeah. So
anyway.
good vibes in the locker room. Sirianni looks, I'm not gonna lie, kind of unneeded. I don't know. Like
Hey,
he's
man.
just kind of the vibes. I saw him in an interview this week, and he had like a Phillies hat on and a
Yeah,
hoodie.
he looks so funny.
I was like, who let a fan up there? I'm like, wait, is that? For a minute, I was like, is that Sirianni? I can't tell. I'm like, no, that's him. I guess he was missing. All he needed was like a Marble Light. And I'd be like, oh no.
You give him a Marble Light and a Bud Light.
Yeah, but like this
Or
guy's been
Miller
at my
Lite,
tailgate
yep.
before.
Yeah. I mean, if Nick Sirianni just wants to be the full-time hype man on the sidelines and let Fangio
cool with that.
and Kellen Moore do that, hey,
That's
whatever
what he should be doing.
whatever
Yeah.
works.
He was like, yeah, but watching Kellen
He's
Moore,
good
and
at
he's like,
that.
I like that play. I like that. I'm like, just don't fuck around too much. Let the man cook. This offense, essentially built to be kind of, impossible to mess up. So
Just
let
keep
let
his
Kellen
nose
Moore
out of
do
it.
his
Yup.
thing and just fucking hype the guys up and be the little motivational dude. Call it a day.
That's what I've been saying. Yup. Mm-hmm. But yeah, you seen Jalen Brunson was at the practice
Oh,
today?
yeah.
Don't like that.
Nah,
I don't like that. Get the fuck out of here. No,
You're
go
not
to the
allowed
go to the Giants, man.
You're
you
not
can't.
allowed to hang out with us
No.
no more.
Nah.
Go to the Giants. Go to the Jets. Wherever you want to fucking hang out with.
Yeah, go hang out with
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers and talk about ivermectin.
Right.
Yeah, you're
Or
not,
Daniel
you're not
Jones
allowed to
and
chill with the
Daniel
boys.
Jones.
Write letters to Santa Claus or some shit like that.
Now,
whatever
if
he
you want
does.
to bring your Villanova boy, Mikal Bridges, down, then we'll pitch it to him.
Yeah. Not after all that shit he did. Mm-mm.
Yeah, you're
No.
not allowed here.
Too
Never
soon.
again.
Way too soon.
But anyway, speaking of New York athletes, Darren Waller putting in his retirement.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Giants
his-
tight end. He went from so good for the Raiders to just washed.
I mean,
And
a
like
part of
the
that too.
season-
I
Dude,
feel
I
like.
drafted him early in one fantasy league, and very
mad?
disappointing. Very disappointing.
Well, it's like you get hurt again drafting Kyle Pitts this year, or do you wait? But I don't know. I just think the Giants' offense is just so trash too that like he probably could have extended his career if he went almost anywhere else. But Daniel Jones is just ass.
Yeah, Daniel Jones is garbage.
Like he's so
Right.
bad. So I mean,
I also think Waller's kind of washed though.
yeah. I mean, I think that he was on a,
He had a
I mean,
couple really good years,
Carr-
but it's like that's the NFL.
Carr ain't, he's not a phenomenal quarterback, but I think he's better than people give him credit for, to be honest with you, especially being on a Raiders team that didn't really have any other weapons.
Who was their quarterback last year?
Garoppolo,
Oh, right.
Right.
Then
Like,
he got hurt predictably.
then Garoppolo was
Yeah.
hurt, and then it was like whose name, fucking spin the wheel of who's going to play quarterback. Then they lost their coach.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Then Antonio Pierce took over. He started killing it.
yeah, I'm glad that they kept him because I think he got a
Yeah,
really
he
good
was
pick with the
gangsta,
players
dude. He
and all
was
that.
killing it.
I liked him. But yeah, Waller, real fall from grace as a tight end. When they first picked up, I was like, oh shit, the Giants, they got Saquon, they got him. Like, okay. But then Daniel Jones is just...
You got Danny Dookie throwing to your skill players, man. You ain't getting nowhere.
Danny Dookie. I love that.
With all due respect.
Or Tommy Cutlet.
Tommy Cutlets.
Like, come on, you got names like that. They're not throwing you fucking piss missiles here. They're throwing you meatballs.
if you're lucky.
Yeah.
You might be getting a poop sock with Danny Dookie.
And the worst thing about that is that music video.
Yeah, so right. Yeah, for people that didn't see this is wild. So Darren Waller was dating Kelsey Plum, guard for the Las Vegas Aces. She's probably better at her sport than he was at his.
Big
To
time.
be quite honest with you, she's a stud.
Definitely.
But they were married. I think they weren't dating. They were
They're
married.
divorced now.
Yeah, they got
Were they?
divorced.
I didn't know that.
So yeah, they got divorced, and like Kelsey Plum took it pretty well. She was like, "Yeah, like this sucks. Like I gotta like move on. Like I got my team. I got the season starting. I'll be all right." This cat goes on and writes a ballad
At the ocean. He's
yeah,
walking
he's
on a
like
bridge.
walking through a field, walking through the ocean, walking like across the bridge up
on a
mountain,
railroad tracks.
and
Logistically, there's no... I don't know where he shot this at, because logistically, the music video makes no sense where he's walking around to. But he's got his face in the waves, letting it crash into his mouth. Weird, man. Shot quality, beautiful. I mean,
Yeah,
the production
value is incredible.
It's like a little Netflix movie, but
yeah.
the music is just trash. Oh, It's so bad.
Yeah.
There was one, he came out a couple of days ago that was, I don't know if it was like supposed to be a response to something. I didn't really catch the whole story, but the video is of him he's just like sitting on a balcony and he's like, you know, doing his bars, but he's got like a notebook open and he's like reading from it. I was like, you can't be reading from a notebook on the
that's cheating.
Yeah. That was lame as hell.
It's that CTE, man.
I just can't imagine if he was doing that shit in the locker room though, like just singing weird. He's like, all right, guys, let's
He's probably writing some of those lyrics post game. He's like, "Oh, I had another bad game.
I hate my quarterback. Terrible.
I had another bad game." Get the hell out of here with that, man. This is football, man. You're a grown man. There's a time to be emotional. I love being emotional. I get emotional probably too often. But you can't be getting emotional in the locker room, man. This is football.
Yeah. Well, when you're playing for the Giants, I guess you got plenty of time to just
write
weird songs.
You got plenty of reasons to.
Yeah.
You have plenty of reasons to be sad and distraught. But like, this ain't it, dude.
This could be Brian Dabble's last season. I could picture.
Yo, he out.
Yeah,
he's out. Danny Dimes is out. Danny Dookie. I refuse to call him Danny Dimes.
They got Malik Neighbors though, the receiver. From
I don't
LSU.
care.
No. I'm just saying that's where he went.
Yeah. But
it's like this isn't Eli Manning and OBJ. This is fucking Daniel Jones. This dude, and he looks pissed off every time they talk to him too.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be there.
He's mad as fuck. He's always like, "Yeah, I'm here. I'm excited to play for the Giants." It's just never a good vibe.
Yeah.
Like, imagine you end up in New York and you're that sad. Like,
well,
as a country kid that's never moved anywhere, like New York should be cool to him. But he's probably like, "Oh, I'm with this garbage franchise."
And you have like the dumber looking version of Eli Manning, which is some might say impossible to do, but Daniel Jones did it. It somehow looks like
he looks like Harry Potter.
Got kicked in the face by a donkey.
Yeah, with his chin line, his jawline. Ugh.
He's got them weird ass eyes.
Yeah, I don't like that guy.
Something ain't right with that man. He's like emotionless, creepy dude.
Yeah, I don't like him. I don't trust him. He's about to end up in jail.
Yeah,
definitely for some weird shit.
I don't know. I can't.
Probably
say
like
that.
sticking hot dogs in vending machines or some shit like that. Doing some weird shit.
What?
Yeah.
Sticking hot dogs in vending machines.
Yeah. Jail. He'll be on that show.
Yeah.
That's what. Yeah.
But I guess we got anything else on the Eagles or the NFL?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
So we can segue. I got this WNBA stuff I got to talk about.
Yeah.
Here we
Since
go.
we're talking about Kelsey Plum. Shout out to the Las Vegas Aces. Shout out Asia Wilson. She's a hooper. But, dude, what do y'all make of like all this like drama around Caitlin Clark?
Clark hoopla.
Well, I will say that I think that
Pat McAfee had to go open his big fat mouth. He's
Oh,
a
God.
dumbass, dude.
did he call her a white bitch? Did he say that?
Yes.
Yeah. Thought so.
Like,
I'm quoting him.
Thinking that he was doing that in like a good way, dude. I've had this thought for a while now that you know, the fact that the WNBA is getting bigger is great. I think it's good. Like women's sports being better is great. You know, all that.
Oh boy.
But it will result in like the highest levels of drunk people shouting like misogynistic slurs that we've ever seen in the history of the world. Like
the potential is definitely there.
I mean, we already saw it.
It's gonna be like, dude, if it gets really really big, there's gonna be like a moment where there's an entire arena of like 20,000 people just chanting the C word at somebody. It's gonna be
potentially.
So bad.
I don't know. I like to have a little more faith in people.
Yeah, I will hopefully.
But I think that the shit with
it could be as nasty.
You think people are going to be chanting the C word?
Not
arena? Like,
maybe not. Maybe not.
They're all like, they got it spelled out.
Maybe not quite that, but
Trevor's
There's
like,
gonna
I was going to say that's heavy.
we see.
Maybe
We're like,
some-
is that Trevor in the crowd? Trevor.
I'm the one that got it going. Like 1, 2, 3. No, but like, but yeah, because it's a lot of
I think
it's just like a lot of people that just don't really understand how to talk about women's sports.
True.
Trying to do it
Yeah,
now.
that's fair. Yeah.
Well, I think that the fact that it's a slow trajectory helps that because people can get educated, they learn about the players, they get more into it. It's not like a rapid like, oh my god, now we're all like all into it that way. I think Caitlin Clark though, to bring it back to that, I assumed that she was going to have like a welcome to the league kind of thing where people are going to be, she's the
for sure.
the most
Yeah.
talented WNBA player probably in recent history with all that, all that praise coming into into her season. So you're seeing some of that was getting nudged and pushed. I do think that push though.
Oh, that was a cheap shot.
I think that was a little
But that
too
girl's
much.
known for that.
Big
You see
time.
that girl,
Oh, yeah.
what she looks like?
She built like
dude?
a linebacker.
Dude, I
Yeah.
was reading like the history of her. She's been like kicked off of 2 teams because of like
Yeah.
behavioral issues, and then had to play
Yeah.
in Europe, and then came back.
Yeah,
here.
she's like low key the Draymond of
Yeah.
the WNBA.
Yeah.
I mean, she's whatever. She got her 15 minutes, so good for her.
Well, that's the
guess,
thing
but-
too. It's like I'm sure people are pissed off about hearing nothing but Caitlin Clark. I mean, Angel Reese as well has been killing it. You got Cameron Brink who's
So
been doing
here's what
pretty
I'm going to say
decent.
about that. So Angel Reese got clotheslined by Alyssa Thomas like twice a few weeks ago. That wasn't anywhere on the national news,
Yeah.
right? Like, Caitlin Clark gets shoved, and like, yeah, it was a cheap shot to be fair, but I do think that like Caitlin Clark is put on a higher pedestal than like most of these other players.
I think she's
Yeah.
I think she's a more elevated. She has all. I mean, the last 2 years and
like
the
I'm not
women's-
saying it's not deserved. To be fair, Angel Reese won a championship. Caitlin Clark didn't.
No, I mean she's more of like a Dan Marino, so to speak, where like she
Yeah.
broke every stat possible. Didn't really get the hardware, but she was the best female and highest scorer ever in NCAA history.
Yeah.
So like there's it's like a little LeBron moment for her to coming into the WNBA. Angel Reese for sure deserves her flowers and credit as well that way too. She's doing a phenomenal job with where's she at? New York?
Chicago.
Or Chicago. Yeah, she's doing great with that.
She
Which
got
they did
ejected.
get-
She
they
got
beat.
ejected last night. I thought that was BS.
Yeah,
was
I didn't
watching
really
that
see.
game.
Did she say something to the refs or something?
So she got called for like her 5th foul,
Okay.
and like she like must have like cursed at the ref. But
Yeah.
and, like they gave her a technical for that, but then she like waved it off, and they gave her another technical.
That's
It's like, dude,
lame.
just get over it.
Yeah.
But I'm
Hey,
sorry,
man,
you
the
were about
refs are
to
the
say.
same
No.
everywhere, I guess. Soft.
Yeah, just get a grip, man. It's 2024. Like, people are going to talk back to you. They ain't the 1960s where everyone's just bowing down, kissing your toes because you're wearing black and white.
That's that misogyny right there. He said, "I'm not gonna let a woman do that to me."
Probably.
Yeah.
It was a man ref,
Was it a
too.
male ref? Yeah. Well, there you go.
See, it's Trevor calling into fruition.
But nah, man, like, my opinion on all this stuff is, right, like, the WNBA has always, like, I was saying this last year on this pod, it's physical, like, those
Yeah.
girls get mad, and, like, they have some aggression pent up, and they take it out sometimes. Was that a cheap shot? For sure. But, like, what people don't realize is, before the cheap shot, Caitlin Clark was jawing at this girl.
Oh, she
yeah.
talks mad shit,
Oh, yeah.
which I love. I mean, I don't have a problem with the fact that people go after her.
I don't
and
think
shit.
that the
It's
cheap
just-
shot was warranted.
Yeah.
No.
But it's just like, you call the game appropriately, whatever.
Right.
I mean, it took them after the game to upgrade that to a flagrant, which it was kind of crazy
Yeah,
that they
there
didn't call
wasn't
that
a
a flagrant at the
basketball play
game.
at all.
Right.
But
It's not Draymond
They weren't
choking
moving
Rudy
around.
Gobert,
Yeah.
but, like,
Yeah.
it's not a
But the other thing I
basketball
would
play.
say is like, dude, the Fever, they got to get a fucking enforcer on that. They
Oh,
got-
that team. That's
I mean,
the
it
other
was
point
crazy.
I was going to bring up.
They
yeah.
just, I mean, she gets shoved to the ground. Like, that's like your
Nobody. That's your prized gem. I mean,
Yeah. That's you got to protect at all costs. And like, I mean, yeah, as soon as that happened, there should have been like 3 other women in her face, like shoving her around, saying like, "What the fuck you doing?" This and that. Like, none of that. There was none of that. It's like, what are you guys doing?
So, like, someone said, I've been through Twitter so much over this stuff. Some, like, WNBA, like, I think she might have played in WNBA. His name escapes me. But she was like, yeah, people are, like, saying, like, yeah, we're Caitlin's teammates. I mean, maybe the teammates aren't there because, like, she wouldn't be there for them.
Well, there's a weird. I mean, there were
Right?
some weird
Like,
things
I
going
don't-
around where like people didn't.
She
think,
was, like, kind of, like, shit-talking our own team a little bit.
Well, it could be a form of motivation. I mean, you go from being on a perennially good team in college now being on the worst team now. Like, obviously, she probably doesn't feel great about that being her, welcome to the WNBA experience to be on a
But you still
shitty
gotta
ass
have your
team.
teammates back.
Definitely, but maybe her motivation is like, instead of just sugarcoating shit and dancing in the tunnel before every game, to be like, all right, like, I'm gonna call you out for fucking up. Like, let's try to get me. I don't know. I mean, without being in the locker room, it's hard to tell, and no one's in there really talking about it.
I think a lot of this comes down to the coach as well.
She's
Yep,
ass.
absolutely.
all
I've been
this-
on this pod
all
saying
this
that.
kind of stuff.
Yep.
Like, if any of the stuff that we're talking about is actually an issue, that also comes back on the coach.
Well,
Like,
you
you
can't-
should have a handle on this. If
that coach is... Ugh.
if you think that Caitlin Clark doesn't have their backs or that they don't have hers, like, that's something that the coach needs to address.
Team meeting.
And if they're not doing it, then they need to fucking go.
Yeah, that
Like,
coach
that's-
she needs to be gone, dude. They're what, 1-8?
Then they got 2
Yeah.
now.
Oh yeah, they did win a second. I bet against them that game too, and they won.
They beat. I thought they beat Chicago. No,
Yeah, they did beat Chicago by 1 point. I bet against them.
Yeah.
I bet heavy against them that game too.
I mean, rightfully so. I mean,
Yeah.
who would have expected them to win that? But
Yeah, they have 2 wins and like 8 losses. Like, to be fair, like they've had a pretty grueling schedule. They've played a lot of good teams.
yeah,
But the coaches, we watched that game before we recorded last week against Seattle, who's solid. But
they almost
isn't,
came
like,
back,
elite.
but at that point, it was like, you know,
They just gave up.
yeah,
The coach sucks, and I think so long as that coach is there, like, we're not going to see any improvements. Caitlin Clark's probably going to continue to get bullied. WNBA, like, they should stand up and do something about it, but at the same time, I don't think a lot of it's uncalled for. Like, the cheap shot was uncalled for, but a lot of it, like, it's just a basketball play. It's a hard screen.
right.
Yeah,
and
it's
she's
just-
kind of small. I mean, the WNBA, a lot
some of
those
these
women
girls are like
you know, they're
6'3", 200 pounds,
Yeah.
right?
Now that would
Like,
be the slippery slope, you know, because we talk about men's bodies all the time in sports, and it's not a big deal. Like, that guy's a unit, that guy's a beast.
I don't care.
Not anybody's
I'm
saying
not
that
talking
women's a-
about them sexually.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying was not going there at all. I just meant like saying like, oh man, that guy's a beast, as opposed to saying, oh man, that girl's a beast. That can people get tricky that way too when commentating, not us, obviously.
Okay,
That's
yeah.
all I'm saying.
Yeah.
She's a monster.
Yeah.
I don't know, whatever.
Caitlin Clark's got to start eating those peanut butter jelly
Yeah,
sandwiches and
she
getting in the
probably
weight
doesn't
room.
She's
need to get in the
small.
weight
She's
room.
just
She's
tiny.
tiny.
She ain't
Yeah.
gonna get away with the same shit she did in college.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think having a terrible coach, a shitty start to your season, probably the most touted, you know, woman coming into the WNBA with all that fucking baggage in there, probably is just a deadly combination of all the three. You know, that's why you're going to hear rumors about locker room not being together, or she's not happy, or whatever. Like, yeah, it's just a room. It's a recipe for cancer to build in the locker room that way.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
You're selling out crowds is great, but like eventually people are gonna stop going if you're not
yeah, if the
winning
team's
games.
this bad,
yeah, like that's fucking brutal
and like
to see.
there's no room for her to perform.
And not just bad. They lost the one game like 112-60.
Yeah,
It
they're
wasn't
getting
even
blown
like
out.
Like was against New York. They got
Yeah,
Yeah.
New York's really good. That's
just-
my team.
it was
dude,
just
but,
sad
yeah.
to watch. It's just ugh. I'm not. You
Yeah,
know.
until Philly gets a team, I guess.
Yeah, once Philly gets a team.
I hope.
Couldn't-
Did Serena Williams buy that team in California? No, because she wants to own a team.
She might have part ownership. I don't know.
I'd
That's a
love
good
for her to
question.
own the one in Philly. That'd be sick.
We need Dawn. Well, Dawn Stilley would have to be the coach or the GM.
That'd be sick.
She got money like that. She's got a nice
Probably-
big fat contract.
probably
Well,
by now.
I don't really know how much a team goes for like that.
She wouldn't be an owner. She'd be a GM. Josh Harris would probably have to
If
be
she's
the
done
owner,
with her
unfortunately.
college career,
Yeah.
yeah. Damn, yeah. If she was our no, she should be our coach.
She probably wants to be done with coaching. I don't know.
I don't
We'll
know,
see.
man. The coaching your
She
city
would.
like that.
She's also would probably love to coach a Philly team. She'd be like, "I'm from here."
She would
This is
sell
my
out just
city.
for that alone. For
Yeah,
at least
if
the first
Dawn
season.
Stilley was our coach, man, we'd be great. dude.
Hell
I mean,
yeah.
what are the
The Philly Pigeons.
Nah, it'd be the Philadelphia Bells, dude. The
Yeah,
Philadelphia Bells.
what's the
rocking in
comparison
Pigeons.
between like what coaches make in college versus the WNBA?
Well, she
I
probably
have-
Like
makes
is
more
Dawn
than
Staley? Would
She
Dawn
probably
Staley
makes
take
more.
a pay
She
cut
make-
to?
well,
She probably makes more in college.
Yeah, I was gonna
she
say.
probably makes more than half than except for maybe who didn't the Aces win back to back?
Yeah.
So
they
she
got
probably-
Becky Hammond.
she-
In the NBA Becky Hammond was on the Spurs staff.
Yeah.
And the WNBA stole
Yeah.
her.
Yeah.
So Becky Hammond's
Yeah.
probably
She's
making
making bank.
She,
Yeah.
she might have taken over the Spurs if it weren't for them getting Wemby and shit.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, she totally would have.
She was
yeah.
like kind of
Yeah.
Pop. That's why Pop stuck around.
Yeah, yeah.
Because she was in line and probably make like $4 or $5 million a year as the
Big time.
Spurs head coach.
But she's probably like a one-off in the WNBA, unfortunately, if having a big fat contract. But I'd imagine Dawn Staley probably makes more than half of the women coaches,
absolutely.
or coaches in the WNBA.
So yeah, we'll get Dawn Staley someday. She'll return home, the prodigal daughter, if
Hell
you
yeah.
will. But anyway, guess that's all we got on basketball and all this, that, and the other. Do we owe my man's an apology?
I think we do.
Beep beep,
Yeah,
baby.
we owe my
we go.
man's an apology.
Yeah.
What's his name?
So Corey Harris.
Corey
Corey
Harris.
Harris.
So listeners probably remember this from last week.
Yeah,
if you call it
and
last
you've probably
week's
seen
episode.
it all over the internet as well.
Yeah.
The guy who apparently had a suspended license driving into Zoom court
To his doctor's office.
to his doctor's office.
Yeah, so apparently he was right. He should.
Yeah.
He was allowed to be driving. I'm gonna play this clip.
Yeah, just put up the.
And right now at the second, yes, I am.
Corey Harris was cited for driving while license suspended in Pittsfield Township back in October. He said it was suspended for unpaid child support. Secretary of State records show his license was first suspended for child support back in 2010. But Harris told us he thought his license had been reinstated.
They were supposed to have been lifted it two years ago, but they didn't.
And according to the Saginaw County court records we found, Harris is right. In January 2022, a judge rescinded that suspension on his license. But for some reason, that information never got to the Secretary of State, where even as of today, his license is still listed as suspended, the same records the judge was going by.
This is a driving while license suspended?
That is correct, Your Honor.
And he was just driving. Failure to turn himself in will result in a bench warrant with no bond.
He said, "Oh,
it's very embarrassing, and with the type of ties that I have with the church and the community, it's very embarrassing."
Thursday afternoon, Harris told us he was going to the Secretary of State's office to try to straighten out everything between them and friend of the court once and for all.
Always double check behind these workers.
Yep.
Because they will say that they will do something and they don't do it.
In Ann Arbor, Kimberly Craig, 7 News, Detroit.
Well, let's hope he gets that straight.
You really can't trust nobody anymore, dude.
Can't trust anybody.
He couldn't even trust the court records.
Yeah. So
never trust the courts.
Our man innocent.
Yeah, Corey Harris, man.
Except for whatever. I mean, I don't know what he was actually in court for in the first place.
Or what he might have done like 10 years in 2010.
It was just child support, so they did it. But whatever. Whatever. But that was 2010. That's 14 years ago. They probably done paying that.
Old news on water on the bridge.
18.
I mean, if it was 4, I'd imagine the kid's probably anyway. Free my man. He's all right.
Yeah, Corey Harris, man. We apologize. We respect you.
Yeah.
We
should donate to the church.
Disrespect.
Yeah.
We wish you the best.
He said it's just embarrassing to the church I'm in.
He's mad. He should be.
Yeah, it would be,
I could see people getting all bad. People walking in church now giving the little side of like, ooh.
If he was white, he probably would have been fine.
I have been watching the OJ documentary.
Oh, for real? Okay.
Yeah, the OJ,
tell me more.
The Made in America, the ESPN one, the 5-part. I have one more episode left.
That one's good.
But yeah, it is a really great documentary.
He's a fucking weirdo.
It's really great. It's on Netflix now. That's why because before
it's not the OJ versus the people like the reenactment show.
It's like 5-part.
It's like a
They're like an hour and a half each. There's 5.
Damn, okay.
But it's on Netflix, and it's just like document. But it's cool because it goes through. It's a lot about his life, and then concurrently the racial politics in LA with. It goes through like the Watts riots, and then like the Rodney King stuff, and how this all kind of built up to the OJ trial. But it's pretty fascinating because it's the real crux of it is so interesting because they pretty much made the trial like kind of a referendum on like the LAPD and like how like the LAPD has had this history of racism or whatever. But it's crazy that they made OJ like this almost like the this, least they made OJ like this almost like this civil rights figure when OJ like really distances himself in his career from black people. He was like quoted as saying like I'm not black, I'm OJ. So it's the whole dynamics of it is very fascinating.
He's a psychopath.
I will say, might be controversial, but I'm pretty sure he did that shit. Like, given the, I don't know if there. I mean,
I don't think it's controversial.
No, I don't. It's not really.
Yeah.
But
I think the tough part is, I think at the time of the trial, they made it. It was very much a race. Like when they showed all the people like celebrating, like everybody that was at home that was black watching it was pretty much like. Yeah, like when he got, when they said he didn't do it, it's fine. And then everybody was like, white women and whatever were like, no, my God, I can't believe they did. Like,
well, because the thing was, I mean, it's one thing to say, like, I'm pretty sure he did it. But also, like, if I was like a jury in the room, I don't know if I would have been convinced by the evidence, and because if it's guys on trial, it's like you got to be. It's not just like you think he did it; it has to be like beyond a reasonable doubt.
They were
like,
also, that trial
and
was so
the prosecution,
long, too.
they were probably just burned out.
No TV, no magazines.
The prosecution fucked up a bunch of things. The cop fucked up a bunch of things.
Well, the fucking neo-Nazi cop didn't help.
Right? Yeah, the cop that was on tape saying the N-word was probably did not help things.
Right.
And so they like fucked up all this shit, and so it's like it's not really that surprising, like given like the level of scrutiny that you're supposed to give that sort of stuff.
The fact that they let him put the
but
glove
it was also
on
just the circumstances of it was like. Okay, like who else could have fucking because like nothing was stolen. It's like who fucking did this? Charles Manson,
right?
Like, it's like who the fuck else would have come in and just brutally murdered these people?
But the show is pretty cool though. Like it does go through like his whole childhood, college.
Yeah, it's a really great documentary.
Post that and then like
I still have one more episode to go, but
it's really good. Hannah and I watched it. We like
give me something to do when we have more dead nights.
It's long. It's like a good.
Yeah, they're an hour and a half each, and there's 5 of them.
It's real long. Goes through his whole like football career, then like the post. Then it gets to the good stuff at the end, but it covers like pretty much his whole entire thing, which is cool.
All right,
weird dude. Weird. I mean,
you could totally tell he was
that
weird.
man was. I don't
CTE.
No, but he had some kind of he like not only that CTE wise. I'm sure toward the end when he got a little loopy, but he just always had a different agenda to him than anything else. Like he wasn't there to help anybody. It was only him.
Oh, he was self-centered.
Even his friends were like, "Oh yeah, like." That guy finally got out of like our neighborhood, and like we thought he would build us up, and he like never came back or never said like it was just a weird like even his home like it's just weird, just a weird thing.
Yeah, weird guy.
Yeah,
that's the main takeaway from the 5-part documentary is O.J. Simpson was a weird guy.
Oh yeah, phenomenal football player.
Oh yeah,
Eagles should have drafted him. Maybe he could have changed his whole life.
Yeah, we could have all been different, man. He could have.
We could have won a Super Bowl before 2017.
Big time.
Yeah.
Well, we wouldn't have been alive for it.
Well, no, but we would have not had to grow up with. You guys don't have any rings.
Yeah, whatever.
But it's all right. It worked out. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if we had. Well, I mean, if he got drafted by you, then I mean, this is like some
hypothetical
butterfly effect type of shit we're talking about now. If he ends up with the Eagles, like probably things go different ways. He probably doesn't end up with Nicole. Maybe
he probably ends up with a good South Philly girl.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe ends up with a good South Philly girl. Keeps him in line, checks him.
She said, "Hey, I like you."
Yeah, he ends up with Cha-Cha's mom, dude.
Yeah.
Hey, you look like you could drive that Bronco around Kelly Drive.
I like juice. Yeah.
You ever driven down Kelly Drive with the juice?
That'd have been a way better helicopter chase though if they were just with the Bronco down Kelly Drive. Lincoln Drive. They hit Lincoln
just
Drive.
Winding around. Yeah. Just like in that instance, it wouldn't have been that weird. They were going so slow because it's like, dude, you can't drive fast on Kelly Drive. Like, this ain't the LA freeway. Like. But dude, it was also. Man. I also thought it was really interesting how of all of the bad things that the cops did during that whole saga, and especially like the history they give, that the cops kind of got crushed for how they handled the Bronco chase, where it was like, I feel like that's the one thing that they actually did right.
They were like 100 yards
behind. Because it was like,
behind.
why are they gonna, like, everyone's like, why didn't they just, it was like, why would you risk, like, killing someone, but the whole time he's saying, I just want to go, like, yeah, you just follow him home slowly, keep it calm.
Yeah, you can't be all up on him.
And they were, like, people were, like, ripping the cops for that. I was like, that's, like, the one thing they did correctly,
They, like, blocked off all the roads.
I'd love to rip the cops for anything they do wrong, but what they did there was fine.
Yeah, like, high-speed chases are
endanger a bunch of other people for that.
They didn't spin out his truck. They didn't like take out the Bronco or put strips in. Like they just let him drive around.
Just let him calmly drive home and wait it out, and then they arrested him.
He just went right back home. You're like, all right,
handled that completely fine. Yeah,
which is not usually the case. But yeah, good. Well worth the 5.5 hours.
All right, I'll have to give that some attention.
Yeah, it's a great doc.
We should also watch that Clipped show. About the Clippers.
With Donald Sterling. I saw that. It's on Hulu.
Dude, did you see?
I saw a meme on Instagram about the casting.
A friend of the pod, Jonah, sent in like one of our group chats. He sent the guy who played Blake Griffin.
I saw that. I saw that after I saw the memes. Yeah.
Oh boy, yeah, I am looking forward to watching that. Like, I don't know if it's going to be good or bad, but I think I'm going to be entertained no matter what.
Decent. I mean, it looks all right.
Yeah, it's Lawrence Fishburne playing Doc Rivers.
Maybe we make. Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he looks. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we make that our like summer viewing thing until.
Yeah, we haven't done like a movie review thing in a while.
Not since the Kelsey doc.
We didn't even talk about the Kelsey doc.
No,
we loosely did, but we didn't like.
Well, let's make clips in that for.
Last time we really did a deep dive, it was I guess the quarterback show.
Oh,
they were on the same
show.
Yeah,
that's a new one coming out too, I think.
So we got to do
season.
clipped probably before quarterback. Quarterback will be out in August.
Yeah.
Do we know who's on the lineup for the quarterback?
I don't think we know yet.
I think. I think. What's his name?
They asked
Caleb Williams. I think is going to be in it.
Oh my god!
Damn. So we get the college perspective. We're going to see him getting drunk at parties.
I feel like all like the big established guys are just like, I don't want to deal with this,
right?
Because they know better. But like the younger, like, yeah, I'll be in the TV show.
Yeah, they already got Mahomes. We're gonna get Caleb Williams. We're gonna get Aaron Rodgers doing weird shit.
I would love
to see Aaron Rodgers in a dark room. Aaron Rodgers on an ayahuasca retreat.
As much
I wish we had Kirk Cousins Atlanta version, not Kirk Cousins Minnesota.
Yo, imagine Kirk Cousins going out in Atlanta.
Yeah, that would have been fucking great.
Kirk Cousins
at a strip club with all black women, dude.
With his favorite shirt, he's like, I love this flannel.
with his Kohl's wardrobe
and his weird church chiropractor. He's like, I found this guy at the church I go to, and he's like giving a massage. I'm like, what the fuck,
dude? Yeah, Kirk Cousins in Atlanta would be
that would have
so
been
good.
Perfect.
They were 1 year too late.
Oh man,
bring him back. Yeah, come on. Like he must have had a good time doing it the first time. Bring him back.
Oh, he looked like he had a great time.
Yeah,
he loves that corny shit.
I did love. I mean, my favorite part of that documentary probably was the Kirk Cousins.
Oh,
like, they were the most entertaining.
He was hilarious.
When he got banged the fuck up too.
Oh, fuck. Yeah.
That was good. And can't forget, obviously, the most important one, Marcus Mariota, was in that shit too.
Oh, yeah. That was boring as shit. Yeah.
The Mahomes part was cool when you saw him dissecting film. He's like, his shoulder's leaning this way. That means he's going to blitz. He's running this way. That means he's going to stay in motion. I was like, okay.
Yeah, his voice got annoying as shit, but Kirk Cousins definitely stole the show. That's
what I do.
Oh, I burnt my I got a hole in my favorite shirt.
Yeah. Well, I think that's just going to do it for us here tonight, everybody. Please leave us a 5-star rating and a review wherever your podcast. Give us a subscribe on YouTube. Follow on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. Send us an email at citywidepod@gmail.com. And from all of us here at the Citywide, good morning, good afternoon, good night.
That's what I do.
Fuck Boston.